in the Indian that we learned this morning?
Which I think is Neiros.
Yeah. So,
You're asking a good question.
yeah.
It's a smart question.
So I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. First, I just want to read quickly over here a minor from the Rebbe. And in the Kovetz Yitzchak, Rabbi Yosef Ginsburg does a good job. He does research and he makes audits. I think he did a very nice job in helping understand the tshuva from the Rebbe. The Lakuta is Krach to Zion, V'shara lochem minik, nitfas meiner Rebbe. L'shayim lo metchina beis Hadlakos Neiros Shabbos Kodesh, muskeres amiris tchina, b'kitzur shalom, b'shem abachai. Okay. Very important to read now the footnotes. Let's start from number one. Mein al petek mechodesh tishrei Tovshin lamed hey larav agon larav achosid Reb Chaim Menachem Techtal Mirushalayim. Techtel, his father was a very
He's one.
his grandson in Berlin. Yeah.
It's the son, not the grandchild.
It's a grandson.
It's a grandchild already?
Yeah. The one in Berlin, his father lives in Crown Heights, married to the daughter of Meir Itkin.
Right.
And that's his grandfather. This guy is his grandfather. Yeah. It's his grandfather. Shmulik, you're becoming from Ziknei Anash. It's his grandfather.
Wow.
Now, Menachem Techtel's father, Nebbach from the Hungarian Yidden, some Tochile Tshiva Madura Genim. So he was what did he write? The Mishnah Sophir. Nebbach, he was hiding in a shul, I think in Budapest. And mamish, days before the end of the Milchama, they caught him. They killed him al Kiddush Hashem. And he sat there the whole time and he wrote. There's a famous kuntas that he wrote. He wrote a lot of Shalos of Truvas. I mean, he was a Poisek in Hungary before the war.
They find it up
It was a day before the liberation. Mamish said 2 days before Nebuch. And he was, I think, hiding with his father. It was Nebuch. So very, very choshev Yid. And his children all became Lubavitch Hasidim. Okay. I'm sure that the Zayda and Gan Eden, Zayat
that his grandchild.
His grandson is the Firton. I was seeing it like today in the Nash.org saying the psukim, with the seatings in front of the Brandenburg Gate.
With a picture.
Yeah.
What's his name?
His grandson, Yudi Tachtel. Actually, we met him in the Kislev. That's why I wanted him to come into the picture with us.
The German one?
Yeah.
The Berlin.
Berlin. That's his grandson. But his father, Tachtel, who was a pasuk in Hungary,
He's like Pini Vyshevsky, her son, the shliach in
Donetsk,
in Russia, in the Kollel place in Siberia. He's already almost 18 years now. He says, "My grandfather sit over here for 7 years. I'm here already 20 years."
Okay. The reason I'm explaining is I think the Olam perhaps a little wrong what the Rebbe's answer really was. And that's why I'm a little bit giving the background based on the footnotes that I'm reading. So they realized that this note that was printed in Shulchan in the Kilkut Siftos was a note that the Rebbe wrote to Reb Chaim Menachem Techtel. So you'll soon see why it's so important to this thing, because I think I saw everyone's talking about this note, and they think that Rebbe is saying the opposite. So you'll see in a second. Okay, let's read inside. Oh, you don't have the copy?
What are we reading?
Yeah, you have it in the right place.
Yeah, what are you reading?
Number one. Number one. Huve b'mogen Avram al Asar, Simeresh also caught in Yudalef, Avalat Moira Zokim, B'Shulchanai, Etik Mamogen Avram and Yonah Shel Fanel Shel Acharov, V'Hishmetin Yinzeh. So let's learn the footnotes in this. 4 or 5. Koloimer ein tzorich lahavi b'merchek lachma latayin l'Rabbeinu b'chai b'kitzur shua shalom k'advorim afim kvar b'mkoimel b'mogen Avram b'hilchis Hadlakos Neiros Shabbos Mimata Moshe b'Shem Rabbeinu b'chai. That's what the emphasis when the Rebbe wrote to his note. Huve b'mogen Avram. B'merchek yavalachmi, you're bringing me from a kitzur shalom Rabbeinu b'chai. I mean, it's in the Shulchan Aruch Shemerei Samach Gimel. So in 5 he says Tzarich Birer at Kamen Nitin Lechik Mazeh Shel Yeshem Noisem Shulchan Aruch Nesekelem Shenishmatu Lagamar Shulchan Aruch Marizak Lagam Harebi Nishra Ze Betzarichin K'mayim Mishen Noilad Ba'ad Rishon Pshuta Masagil Mitzvahs Hishmet B'Shulchan Aruch Mashkaz B'Zeh B'Shulchan Aruch V'Magam Hom V'Yanisem B'Shulchan Aruch Marizak B'Semenon Heba V'Dorech Hadosha Haaretz Tzadik Zayin V'Leich Sheyeh Yesh Tam Lashmot Azu V'Kuntas HaShulchan Om Mitchov Boru Lo Shein Zel Lashmot Hamaytik Maybe the Gmos Kayetz of the Ila Rebbe B'Chol Makom Sheyitzun Hasham Matzias Beida Machin and L'Moresh Maris Akush Ben Masalma Shor Zukol L'Shemach L'Makom Sign L'Kuntus Shochem Yen Tzarech L'Masher Boru L'Rebbe Shaloi Chol Kan Hashmotas Hamaytik. Number 1, Shein Kol Siba Cheres L'Kach Shadamar Zakan Enemas Techinas Elokan Elu L'Shleilos Namochet L'Sletus.
You have a copy?
Yeah, it's a long idea because the bottom line is it's I think it's besides what the Rebbe is saying it's obvious that over here. The Rebbe says over here was Hashmot and Mechuben, because I'm not well versed in the whole Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch to say, but I think a lot of other places in the Alter Rebbe you see there's a Swiss cheese missing a line. This is very clear that the Alter Rebbe was mashmit. In Siman Reish Samach Gimel, the Alter Rebbe brings everything from the Magen Avraham and everything from all the places. There's nothing missing in Siman Reish Samach Gimel. And yet this one line that the Magen Avraham says in the name of the Mata Moshe Rabbeinu B'chai, that it says Mama Sugel after she lights the candles and makes the broch that she should ask for bonim tamid chachamim mi'idim batoida. Alter Rebbe doesn't say it, so it says. You see, the Alter Rebbe was mashmit. It must have been for a good reason. It must have been for a good reason. Number 2, what does he say in the order? He quotes Lekutei Marich says. I think also the Sefer Mavi, B'Ksif said Tzedek, Shemezera, Kodesh Vayaki, Ispal V'Shas Hadlakos Al Chai Ba'al Manesh Yiskel Torah. This is what the Lekutei Marich quotes. The Lekutei Marich asks. Lekutei Marich is given again. It's a Dafka English Yid. He was a very choshev Baal Machar B'Svara. He says V'Inem B'Zoyer Vayaka Lo Matzosim is a Shum Remes. B'Zoyer Bereishis skip the brackets. He said that Lokas Neiros is Gula with the bottom Tamid Chachamim Alarichis Yimei Bang. Okay, there is things in the Zohar for this. Okay, 3. Loi Shamati Loiheim Veloy Lav Veloy Riisi Bebeis Arav Tfila Bakoshel Ad Lokas Aneiri. I didn't see such a thing. I didn't see V'Lachein Ladaiti Lo Yisarim B'Zeh. Okay.
Who I say so?
The Rebbe. Ladaiti, my opinion.
I'm not going to go into it because
You lawyers side, you don't mix in. You don't mix in.
I thought the Rebbe said I don't want to mix in.
No, that's everyone's confused. I'm basing it on all the ha'oras here, and you'll see. Look at Ha'orah 7. Lo'or malakut deburim, v'targim v'loshon hakedesh k'vitus admir maratz itzke b'shivach samiris Techinas k'minig Yisrael v'cholam v'hagam hashanim k'vel v'oshel Techinas shanosh v'emir l'fnei l'achri Hadlakos Neiros Shabbos Kodesh cholam v'nogim ha'toyra K'nidem ha'mayne ein ze minik Chabad ach midach anoiges kach le'efsiku min minhag. Yeah.
Because Chabad don't do it.
Then the next one. Borum imayne zeh shebebeis harav lo yomru shum nusach kam lo yirotzen shebona beis hamikdash kanofut bein shei Chabad kayoim. I'm not so sure at this point he's right or wrong. I'm not sure. Maybe he's wrong. I'll tell you in a second.
No.
No. The Metzias is today, every Chabad family, does your wife say after she lights Yirotzen? Every Lubavitch woman that I know does it. Not only the minig of Chabad by women, they do it Benida Bechalo Badlokas Aner, that they say Yirotzen Fanecha, Shebana Mesamikdash. I think it's come out a universal minig today.
Right.
Okay, look at order 9. Turn the page. The Gosse Shalachol Tichid Tom and Lemet Chin. Gila ben Esav Kalasel Shigodl ben Tzidei Chabad Sirvu L'Chaluten L'Omre. Asher upon the Rebbe Benidon Betzin L'Lukut Deburim Acharevi B'Tshuvose Yisalem and Mokazel L'Chaluti. Now I want to tell you something that I shopped when I looked in the. Whenever I read this tshuva a few times. I thought the Rebbe said Lo Yisarev, don't mix in. Let your wife say it. Now they found that Harav Tachtel, they spoke to him. They asked him what was the shaila. He wants to force his daughter-in-laws and daughters
like his
to say, Mama hat gesagt Techinas, the Baba hat gesagt, the Elter Baba, they were teures, Poiskim Gedolim and hungry,
let them to continue and let the new generation
not say it. So the Rebbe says, Lo Yisarev, don't mix into your business of your daughters and daughters-in-laws because they became Lubavitch Chassidim and they don't say it. So Lo Yisarev. Lo Yisarev don't mean don't mix it. There wasn't, the Taka would have been a weird thing. Knowing who he is, and I didn't know him that well personally. I saw him, but I know his family very well. And knowing that, it's hard to imagine that a Choshevid like this would ask the Rebbe. He wants that his wife should stop saying Techinas. Chaket, he asked the Rebbe.
they should continue.
If the Rebbe would say yes, they should say, he would go like this, not say a pip. He would go like this to his family, and they all would have started saying Techinas. They didn't want to say Techinas like their Bubby who was saying Techinas. I mentioned this morning my Bubby had a book, and my mother still has it as a book like this, full of Techinas. So it was nafutz by Yidden that they said Techinas, but Hadlakos Neiros Shabbos. Okay. Then comes 4. Binyan tefillah shepashat haminik shekol echad ve'echad she'ite ve'ete biyode metaken tefillas l'rabbi. It's a very sharp lashon. She'ite ve'ete biyode metaken tefillas l'rabbi.
It's true. It's Techinas, the written by Amunos.
Exactly. This is now you're starting to see what the Rebbe didn't like about the Techinas. Lahor mekoheles, and the pasuk says in Koheles that and the pasuk in Koheles is that he shouldn't, let me see, 11. They're going to sing now, or 11. Yeah, Rebbe Michtav Rebbe la Rabbi Goren B'Yaakov Verdige, Eure Chassidut Tzlusa da Avram, Agad lo Yose Erech Tziyuna Mekoris Nia Tefillah B'Tkipasen Azu, Nisraba Azilzel B'Derena Der Yosem At Kedei Kav Shekol Aroitze Omer Asher Yesh L'Shem V'Oisa B'Nuschos HaTefillah Keretzoyne Mishane Mekatzer Medalig Pshita Shemataken Tefillas Chadoshes Shaloi Sha'orim Dugmosan Aviseinu Avesa Vesenu Stama Kavan L'Nuschos HaTefillah Sidurim She'al Arav Goyren Kayetze. The people don't realize, part of the Rebbe was, kanoi, some Sefer style too, The Rebbe was like very upset, making all kinds of new tzinas and bakoshes and atikvas.
Our going in the Siddur said it's for all time.
I know.
I had the Siddur.
I'm just telling you, be'epach v'mashu zarnu, betoykef v'behechlet v'mikra mefurish at the bol in pircha, v'lipcha al yamar lahoitze dover lifnei holikim kehelas hey aleph. V'yinsham bepirish Reb Avram ibn Ezra sheherich bazeh. V'idiyah Reb Chaim Vital b'shem Moirei hu Arizal v'negeh afilu l'piyutim pizmoinim sheishu rakas elu shnestaknal derech emes v'chelu acharonim shelo yodu derech Kabbalah einem yodim ma shem oimrim v'toyev v'seid diburim below yediyah klal pri Eitz Chaim shar alav b'tchilozeh. The Rebbe was very kanoi in certain things, the walking between
the meaning, the way he was.
Yeah, so the Rebbe did not like new sidurim, new this, that. Frat in the tefillah, which is the takno al derech hasoid, and the Anshe Knesset Agdola wrote it, v'chulu. The Rebbe didn't like, so that's what the Rebbe was saying. This minig, the kol echa v'echa she'ite ve'ite b'yodem etaken tefillah s'lerabbe in lahor mekehelas. It's not my Indian to start making waves to look in order 12. The Haina Rebbe nimna melisnagelu neschotz alala begolui. Avshi et siba toivel shlelos and kedalalon kim shechololots mehem tefila rak leisha achas balvat etzos toives tefila bekavana no chutza v'yoyset b'matzav ahelam v'hester agodel shel doireinu. So the Rebbe is saying, before we read it inside then, that the emes is b'shita. I'm very against all these new techinas and anything that was not made by Anshe Knesset Agdola. I'm very, very against Elamai, and this is a Gudoriosum. And if a woman is like my Bobby was reading, when I was a kid, I once read all the techinas. When I came to one of the last techinas, I started to laugh. There's a techina for Isidor and Isa Stark. Was mit groß Liebe gestorben auf the Schiff Titanic. Und Isidor hat gekuscht Eder und hat gesagt, habe der Leben.
Romantic.
I couldn't believe it. I fell off the chair. My Bobby probably never got to the end.
I know she's reading.
She did know what she's reading.
Or the Titanic did not
It
have
was chas v'shalom. She would
She was throwing the garbage.
throw the garbage.
But who got the Techinas?
Some publishing company.
Some publishing company, some oibachochem, someone that was itoy ve'etoy biyod. And but these women, they said it with their whole heart. So basically, what the Rebbe was saying is, I don't want to say anything against these things. Even though in Indian, if it was not written by the Ashkenaz Lagdoila, I have a very big problem with it, and it's nicht kahoigen. But because Bisman Azed there's a big choshech, and there could be a woman that's saying it with the Yisrael Tzalev, I don't want to say anything about it. That's what the Rebbe is saying.
Sensitive.
Right. That you're allowed to do a tefillah sadava. B'zman hazeh, you should try not to because you really having kavanah. Avalatam, the lomali shaykh bekoil. The shaykh always to say when the tefillah is not menadin that why are you saying extra things? B'ulay, however, b'choshech kafel mechupel the kovasenu ari b'signan yedua afilam elef ksolan, whatever that means. B'vad shetetois tefillah achas shetiena kedaboy. Therefore, I'm not saying anything. Okay. Seeing this tshuva so it seems that the Rebbe was not so fond of any Techinas abakoshes. Vetzach the Shaila, how come L'poil Terei Chabad, all the women, they light a candle and they're saying Yerotzon v'nei Shabbonim v'Samikdash, and most Lubavitcher women are also asking Techinas abakoshes, whatever on their heart, their own. And because you're already hearing how I'm reading it, the Hesher my pshat, which the Rebbe's problem was with Isidore and Ida Stark's Hebrew publishing company, Techinas books. But if a woman wants to talk from her heart, that wasn't the Rebbe's problem. Now, furthermore, everyone's saying l'chayda there's a hefsek. There's a hefsek between the brach and the mitzvah. But that's not what the Rebbe is saying. If the Rebbe had that in mind, he would have said it. The Rebbe is not mincing words. He's bekitzer. He's not mincing words. How come the Rebbe didn't say? So that the Rebbe didn't say that there's a problem, that there's a hefsek.
Don't say nothing.
Yeah. So I see here two articles. One from Rishon Ber 11, and the second from that I mentioned this morning. So bekitzer. He says, "Ah, you're going to tell me the pshat that I said this morning." But he has a point. He says, "Are you going to tell me a pshat that like the apple dipped in honey that we say that's befedish? Over there, the Alter Rebbe says it befedish, and over here he doesn't say it befedish. So who are you to say chidush? I hear. That's a good taina." So someone tried to answer, no, but he has a taina. I'm sorry, he has a good taina. That the other thing he says, that people are saying to him, that's nicht gefährlich, just like by Natilas Yadayim, that instead of saying the bracha before, we say it after. So same thing here, instead of saying the before, we say it after. So he says, no, never mind the Techinas. He's saying, any bakosha, never mind Techinas. They're saying he's saying, the Alter Rebbe says that it's that the bracha is ovelas yosam. Why? Because the main part of the mitzvah is enjoying the light. So she covers her eyes, she says the bracha, and then she uncovers it. So there's the bracha, and then there's the mitzvah. So what do you? So the time is not here; it's short. But I don't understand how Choshev Talmud Chacham like this missed a huge kuntas achron that we learned. A geschmack kuntas achron. The Alter Rebbe says that the main reason why the Alter Rebbe in the kuntas achron says the main reason why there's no problem with Oivel Asiyosam is not like the Shulchan Aruch says. That's a second. The real reason why it's not Oivel Asiyosam is like this, because the women think that through the bracha, the Makabel Shabbos. So B'daitom, it's impossible to first make the bracha and then make the adloka, because once they make the bracha, Makabel Shabbos, it's impossible. So the kilo in their mind, they're Makabel Shabbos by saying the bracha. So it's impossible. So the Alter Rebbe says that every time the Chazal said that you can't make the bracha before you should make it afterwards, is it vul yesh b'dover? So if you can't make it before, you can make it after. You can make it much after. Emes, there is the Tilo David says there's 3 places the Alter Rebbe talks about it, and there's a stira. The Alter Rebbe talks about in the morning when you wash your hands, Negelwasser. There used to be in Meidnik that they used to wash Negelwasser in the house, walk to shul, and in shul they used to say the brachas. The Alter Rebbe says, but it's a hefsek. Okay, you can't say the bracha before Al Netilas Yadayim, so you make it after. You should make it right away after L'chatchila, but not go to shul and make such a big hefsek. Then the Alter Rebbe says, if a person washed and he didn't make the bracha until the and he started to eat the bread. The Alter Rebbe says once you start eating the bread, you can't make the bracha until the even though l'chayre you couldn't make before, you make after. But the Alter Rebbe says ain't svara klal that even for 10 hours later you could make the bracha. And then here he says in Kuntas Achran that since you can't make it a bracha before, you can make it after. So you can make it after. Much after is also good. So Tilo David says, Psastir and Aladra. There's 2 ways of answering it. One way to answer it is a little bit different. By the candle, the Tzapul and Imsheches, the candle is still lighting for 3-4 hours. Shenkein, if I wash to eat, and now I start eating the bread, making it. So you could be machab. But the Lashon Alter Rebbe a little bit is not brackets, and Simakuf Nun Ches. This, the Alter Rebbe says, not in brackets, it's a Reish Samach Gimel. So the bottom line is the Mishnah Charon of the Alter Rebbe is that Eze Gvul Yesh Bedover. The Alter Rebbe said, L'gabe Netilas Yadayim in the morning, that when you wash Negelwasser, that you should write away the brachas as much as you could. If the guy is saying used to be a minig that he used to wash Negelwasser in the house, is to have a coffee, say goodbye to his wife, take his child to the bus stop, drop off his clothing at the cleaners. Sorry, I'm being magzim. Then he would come to shul and then say, "Asher Kedshanu Mitzvah Tzivonu Al Netilas Yadayim." Come on, Chazal said if you can't make the bracha before, make it after, but right after. But it's not the same. But still, Eza Yudvul Yesh Bedover means that. If you could, don't go walking to shul to make the bracha until this time in shul. Make it in your house. But who says you lost the bracha? So therefore, I think it's clear to me that that's the main reason the Alter Rebbe. The main reason the Alter Rebbe said that it's not a problem of Eivelis Yosin is because over here you couldn't make the bracha before, so you make the bracha after. So Ezek Vul Yesh Bedover. Then the Alter Rebbe says, that you could say that really because she covers her eyes, the bracha is Eivelis Yosin. That's only befrat. It's only befrat. It's only befrat. But the Emes, Alter Rebbe is saying it's not a problem. You can make the bracha later. So because and even though the Alter Rebbe says that, and the Alter Rebbe says furthermore, the Alter Rebbe says over there that there's a Rishonim that say that you can't make a bracha on lighting candles. The bracha on lighting candles is not brought in the Gemara. Some Rishonim say you can't make a bracha. They said why? Because when you're doing the mitzvah, you're not doing anything. And when you're being nana from the hour later, you're also not doing anything. The Alter Rebbe says that the Maisa mitzvah is like kol aroy labila ein bila ma'keves boy, because when they light it in that Maisa, it's already going to be all the hanoah from later, so you can make the bracha on this Maisa. You Nebuch, a woman that missed lighting Shabbos candles and a goy is lighting. So the Alter Rebbe said still she can make a bracha, and some poskim said not. So Alter Rebbe says because the ikid is the hanoah, but still the bracha is on the Maisa. So therefore, this thing that she's covering her eyes is only a second. I'm a Ken Zogan. The main reason the Alter Rebbe thought that it's not a problem is because you can't make the bracha before, so you have to make the bracha after. Yesh b'davar. So Ezek Vul Yesh b'davar. So the real reason that you could make the bracha after you're lighting the candles is not because you're really making it over l'asiyosim. Really, you're supposed to make it before you light it. Really, you're supposed to make it before you light it. And Lanias Daiti, the Taka men that light candles, they should make the bracha over l'asiyosim Taka, because that's the way you're supposed to do it. This trick is only a trick that's for the women. Lefi Daiton, they should make the bracha first and then light the candle. And Elamai, by the women, because Lefi Daiton, that they're being Makabal Shabbos are saying the bracha, So I have no choice. The Ikir Tam, the Alter Rebbe says you're allowed to make the bracha later, because don't worry, because just like Batvila Sageh, you can't make the bracha before he goes to mikvahs. He can make it later. So if he made it 10 minutes later, 20 minutes later, that'd be good. So if I'm right,
Bracha doesn't make
huh?
what does bracha doesn't make?
Alatvila.
Also,
Alatvila. So now, Bazoi, if I'm right, so the emes is there's no problem to say Shivana Beis Hamikdash, Tfilas Bakoshes. The Rebbe's problem was not about the hefsek. The Rebbe's problem was about is there an Ida star in the Titanic? That was the Rebbe's problem with the Hebrew publishing company making a big fat buck of Techinas because ite ve'ete beyode, and he could sell a book. But and for that he said that Loide Ina Bebeis Arav that they should say Techinos. Techinos or Tfilos. But the Rebbe was not talking about the Hirots and Shibana Beis Hamikdash. The Rebbe didn't say for or against. It wasn't talking about it. Harav Tachtel, the Bobbe and the Elta Bobbe and his wife were reading a book, 25 pages like this, and his daughter-in-law and his son and his daughter refused to do it. And he thought he'll ask the Rebbe, and the Rebbe will say they must do it. The Rebbe says, no, I'm against these tchinas. But nicht having the Yerotz and Sheibana Beis Hamikdash. The Rebbe wasn't talking about that. Or a tefillah that's coming from the heart that the woman is, maybe she's not even saying B'diburim, she's just thinking in her mind, which is even less than saying B'dibur. Because the Iker Inyan that the Alter Rebbe says is it doesn't have to be over L'asiyasa. Ve'ezek vul yesh b'dover. Once you can make the bracha later, you can make it 10 minutes later. So therefore, I think that there's no shaila against that minig. And I think it's taka universal minig. Not only by Chabad, that women say the Shivana Beis Hamikdash by all three mitzvahs, by Nida, by Chala, and by Hadlakos Anei. I think it's quite a universal thing.
neither is by the mikvah.
Yeah. Now I had the shaila. A woman asked me. So she's Lubavitch, and she's going to not Lubavitch mikvah. The Lubavitch women, a lot of them, I don't know because again, it's not written anywhere. A lot of Lubavitcher women toivel is a gold shaila. How many times should Lubavitcher women toivel? It's not. The Rambam says you're not allowed to toivel more than once. The poil the Welt fears of most women are toivel more than once.
Please, three.
Right. A lot of people have a minute 3. So
What do you mean towel? Put the whole body in.
yeah, tvila. So a lot of women have the minute
Halacha-wise,
3.
the women tovel once, it came out.
The Rambam says also to do a second time. Maguna. Whatever the reason why we know we do more than once. Whatever. But the bottom line is most women are toivel more than once. Most, again, I'm saying minik Chabad because it's not written anywhere. So, but the way it seems to me that most women, they toivel once, and then they cover their head and they stand in a position that's mutter to say a bracha, and they say a bracha, and they say Yirotz and Shibona Beis Hamikdash, and then they toivel again. The mikveh lady in this mikveh said that the Lubavitcher women are doing it wrong because it's a hefsek ben abrocha v'amitzvah with saying Yirotz and Shebona Beis Hamikdash. I don't know what other people do, but the mikveh lady said that the Lubavitcher women are doing it wrong because you made the brocha, you have to toivel right away. How can you say Yirotz?
Did before.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. So this mikveh lady is thinking that the first tvila makes the woman ois nida 88.8%, or maybe 99.9%. But 1%, she's still a nida. And then she's going to make the bracha and toivel and take away this 1% of nidus. So therefore, she made a lumdus. But that's not true. When the woman toivel one time, lagabi chulm, you don't even need kavona. If you had a kavona afochis, I'm not even sure if it would help. I don't know. You don't need kavona. So she toivel one time kahoigen. She is 100% muteres. The isur of nidus went away. Why is it a minute to toivel a second, a third time?
And why she didn't make the bracha
Just like
before
men.
the first one?
First one we don't is because the minik look shaloi lechalak ben ager isha just like by netila sidayim shaloi lechalak ben netila lenetilas, and sometimes you have to do it after. So same thing by a woman, because a goy that becomes a yid has to do it after. So also by a woman, shaloi lechalak ben tvila letvila.
Should do before, should be fine. Right.
If she would have done, it would have been fine. But it's loy lechalak. So therefore, she did it after. But once she did it after, so She did it after.
It's like I'm saying,
I did it after. What are you telling me that
like
now?
like I'm talking after I start eating. So I could talk to tomorrow.
Okay, talk about my headache. Once she made the bracha after, is it whatever? She made the bracha now. Emes Taka, again, when I say the minhag, what I see my wife do and my mother do. The Taka, when they take challah, they also say Yerotz and Shebona Besamigdal. But Taka, but they don't make a hefsek. Make the bracha. And she get shalom sorry if it's one half challah. They take off a little piece of dough. And then they say Yerotzim Olfanecha, Hashem Elokeinu V'Lekazenu, Shebonu Beis Hamikdash, Meir V'Minav Tzachokenu, V'Soyra Secha. Not before, that makes sense, because the bracha, you made a bracha l'hafrish challah, and over here it's to be over lasios, and it doesn't make sense. So first you mafrish challah, and then you say Yerotz, then you can say whatever you want. Shenken, when you're lighting the candles, and when you're going to the mikveh, yois over there, Mamacht nicht the bracha far, mamacht später. So once you're ready, going to make the bracha later, ezik vu yesh badover. So there's no shaykh the din of hefsek. It's not shaykh the din of hefsek. But frat in the mikveh is mamish not shaykh the din of hefsek because she already toivel. So you're 100% tefillah. So therefore, I think just to summarize, very clear. The minig in Chabad houses, I assume that's not only Chabad. I assume Mistama, it's a pretty universal minig. Because it's not a Chabad minig bemis, as you see here.
But she's lighting candles. She's supposed to have a null from the candles.
Yeah.
It has to have a null. What if she doesn't have a so,
it has to be that there's, episode not of sign, surely kosher bates ve'evan, that they eat pleasant.
3 hours later.
Yeah, for sure. Kollel lebila.
Right.
I don't think when the Alter Rebbe said, when the Shulchan Aruch said that she moves her hand, she has a noah, it's hard to imagine. This second she has a noah. Well, I know she had the second.
Look at the candle.
Kollel lebila probably. I don't know. It's hard to understand.
Right?
It's light outside still. Especially people on Makava Shabbos more than
minutes for Shabbos. Thank you.
Exactly. True, that's that no, but it's not that no. It's that oof, but still it's I think it's called
before and 10 minutes after is
I know it's the relaxation, but still from the leg. I think it's called labila, really. So to summarize, there's a universal minig, and I think it's not just by Chabad, by the 3 mitzvahs that women do to say Shebona Beis Hamikdash. Agav, with Lubavitch women don't say V'shem Navot Chabiyir Kamel Ukshana Kadmani is the whole extra thing. But Pashtus, why? Because Yerotzim Alfanech is a Loshem the Mishnah and Pirkei Avos. The other things, again, there's a posset, but there's a whole tzushtel. Shemona Beis Hamikdash made remains of Lokenim Serizach. What goes after that? No, there's a little more, a few more words. It's zugestellt a few things, but the Maimon Chazal is only Yerotzim Shebona Beis Hamikdash made of remains of Lokenim Serizach.
Good morning, yes.
Yeah, really, this one is only 2 psukim. It's not.
One pasuk, extra one.
Besides the Pirkei Avos, it's a pasuk from Malachi. Shem Navotcha B'Yira. But some have also in the middle between the Zeich Lokenim and Shem Navotcha another few words that are not the pasuk and not a Maimon Chazal.
That's very also said. Then the Shon answer.
Okay, anyway, but Chazal the Shitos. I mean, Chabad they only say Zeich Lokenim B'Seirasech. Mistama developed that say Shem Navotcha B'Yira. They probably the women also. I don't know. But the bottom line is, no, she says Yerotzim Shebona Beis Hamikdash. Okay, interesting.
They have a whole chart.
She say any Techinas?
Yeah, Hadlakos.
No, but Hadlakos a Neir.
But she says her own.
I see.
But it doesn't say Shebona Beis Hamikdash.
I'll ask her again.
A whole in a nice.
Those that say afterwards, machne shtoiz are not a hefsek. But anyway, bottom line is, I think according to the Alter Rebbe, it's not a hefsek because the bracha be'ikek could be said afterwards anyway. And this that the Rebbe had the problem, he didn't have a problem with the hirots and the bakoshes that a woman asked privately. The Rebbe's problem was with the new one. Maybe shall help them. All the tefillas that the women ask, the oimek halev, should all be in the sky.
Amen. Are we at 10?
9, the 10 comes.
Oh, so walked in?
Every week. Two types of hefsek. One is like when you make bracha and take something in between, and the other hefsek, a time thing. Like you wait. So I remember learning. I want to make this heck, the character.
He was doing upstairs?
When you make Kiddush, chapter for noon, right? And
Fishing or whatever.
you have to watch Miyad right away. I learned you can wait like 15 minutes
Between what?
between making Kiddush
Oh,
and
but
watching
that's
for the
something
Suda.
else.
Because
That's
after that,
that's not
that's
between
called
the
a
bracha.
hefsek.
That's a different thing. That's very different. That's not between the bracha and the tcholas and mitzvah. There has to be kiddush b'makom suda, and the shayla is how much should the suda be close to the kiddush.
You can't wait an hour.
Okay, but that's something else.
That's
That's not the bracha. We were learning now about when a person says sheket shanam tzetzis v'on lahadlik ne Shabbos. How much time or how much hefsek is there allowed to be between sheket shanam tzetzis v'on lahaniach tefillin? If I start talking to you and I say, "Could you please bring me the seltzer?" Can I still put on the film, or I have to make the bracha again? I have to make the bracha again.
But what if
Mafsik.
What if you're not?
Okay, so that's what we were talking about. That's what we were talking about. That's exactly what we're talking about. If a woman is not mafsik, she's just thinking. That's what I was saying. Is avada not a problem? Even if she is mafsik and she was saying words, that's what I was saying is not a problem. But if she was not mafsik, she was just thinking. Taka is better. Oh well.